When the House rose yesterday, I was dealing with the criticism and strong condemnation made by my honorable friend Dr. Kunjuru against the conduct of ministers when they go out for election campaigning on behalf of their party candidates. The language he used was, of course, strong, and it is open to any member to use such language as he considers proper. But I am constrained to say that on this occasion, the quantum of his criticism and the language which he used was not only uncharitable but even ungraceful. He went to the length of not only suggesting but also specifically accusing the ministers of being dishonest in as much as they tried to invent some government business so that they might be able to travel at government expenses and with high government officers. The charge that he leveled against the ministers was threefold. Firstly, they invent some business whereas the primary consideration with them is to carry on an election campaigning. Secondly, they go about in government cars and their tour expenses are debited to the government account. And thirdly, they use to police officers and the magistrates to help them in connection with the elections. The third is, of course, by implication. Then, sir, he has said something more than what I thought him to have said. I had said that it was only by implication. Now, it was not only by implication, but he says that he really meant it, and he found the police officers and the magistrates helping the ministers in organizing meetings. Well, sir, so far as his personal knowledge in this respect is concerned, I will not be so bold as to say that it is not correct, for I have always held Dr. Kunjuru in very high esteem ever since my college days. Therefore, so far as his personal knowledge of anything is concerned, I would not dispute it, though I might say that my personal experience in this respect has always been otherwise. Possibly on some one occasion it may have been a different matter when Dr. Kunjuru saw it. Well, the police officials are of course there. Sometimes some magistrate is also there, particularly when our Honorable Prime Minister goes about on an election campaigning, or for that matter wherever he goes, and that is necessary for security reasons. I hope that of all the persons, Dr. Kunjuru would not like that proper security measures should not be taken when our Prime Minister goes out. Sir, yesterday I pointed out one unhappy incident of the very recent past when our Prime Minister went somewhere in Madhya Pradesh, I suppose, and when somebody sprung upon him in order to attack him. Therefore, sir, it has been found necessary always to take all the necessary precautionary measures when the Prime Minister goes about or when the other important ministers go about. Sir, the second thing that he said was that they go about in government cars. It is indeed an astounding proposition coming as it does from Dr. Kunzru, but I am sure even he would not say that he has seen any minister going about in a government car when on an election campaigning. The ministers, surely all of them at the center at least have their own cars. Of course, they are lent money by the government, but then they have to pay it back in installments, and the wear and tear thereof is all being borne by the ministers themselves. So, I fail to see where the question of a government car comes in. Then, sir, he said that the expenses are all debited to the government account. I wish before making such a statement, he had made his position sure about it. Has he any basis for it? Surely this is not correct. I say that it is absolutely incorrect. Our Prime Minister, whenever he goes out, not only on an election campaign, but on any Congress business, the entire expenses of his tour and travel are borne by the Congress or by the Prime Minister himself. In the year 2012, when he went round the country on the election campaign, every single rupee of the expenditure was borne by the All India Congress Committee. This news may be a little discomforting to Dr. Kunzru, but then here is the fact. Whenever he went on such a business, the charges were borne by the All India Congress Committee. Whenever he went on plane, the charges were borne by the All India Congress Committee. The halting charges, for instance, and all the travelling expenses, not only of himself, but also of anyone of his colleagues, if he happened to be with him. This is so not only in the case of the Prime Minister, but even in the case of other ministers. $810 वर्ड के आसपास है, 90 की स्पीड है, 118 नंबर है केसी का. आप टाइप करेंगे